by that descent and ascent, we must surely understand nothing else than this, that we descend by self-exaltation and ascend by humility. This is the Christian paradox. It seems that through humility we lower ourselves. But Saint Benedict says, no. You ascend when you lower yourself. And when you try to exalt yourself, actually you descend. As the ladder erected is our life in this world, which for the humble of heart is raised up by the Lord unto heaven. Now the side of this ladder are our body and soul, into which sides our divine vocation has fitted various degrees of humility and discipline which we have to learn. And Saint Benedict will define 12 degrees of humility. If you are curious, just check. Go to the rule of Saint Benedict and try to check where you are. At the bottom of the ladder or at the top. We are rather at the bottom. But there are 12 degrees of humility in order to ascend to this heavenly exaltation. Let me read what Saint Benedict says about the last degree, which is the highest. And it's about the gospel. The 12th degree of humility is that a monk, we apply to us, a monk should not only be humble of heart, but should also in his behavior always manifest his humility to those who look upon him. That is to say that whether he is at the work of God is a bad translation for Opus Dei. Opus Dei means to recite, to pray the divine office. Opus Dei, the work of God is to pray the divine office, the liturgy of the hour. So whether he is at praying the divine office, in the oratory, church, in the monastery, in the garden, on the road, in the fields, or anywhere else, and whether sitting, walking, or standing, he should always have his head bowed and his eyes downcast, pondering always the guilt of his sins, and considering that he is about to be brought before the great judgment seat of God. If you enter the monastery, you think of your soul. That's why you enter the monastery. You want to save your soul, and you close yourself out of the world and enter the holy prison where you are free from many temptations, and used to save your soul. But we are in the world, how more dangerous it is for our soul. So we should apply also what Saint Benedict recommends for his monks, to see all the time, to have before our eyes the judgment to come. And Benedict, let him constantly say, it is hard what was said with downcast eyes by the publican in the gospel, today's gospel. Lord, I, a sinner, am not worthy to raise mine eyes to heaven. And again with the prophet, I am bowed down and humbled on every side. So we should find some inspiration in it, if not to apply literally, but interiorly. How humble we try to be through our gestures, our eyes, our looks, our attitudes. And Saint Benedict goes on to conclude this chapter on humility. Then, when all these degrees, the 12 degrees of humility have been climbed, The monk will presently come to that perfect love of God which casts out all fear, whereby you will begin to observe without labor, as though naturally and by habit, all those precepts which formerly he did not observe without fear, no longer for fear of the hell, but for love of Christ, and through good habit and delight in virtue. And that's perfection, to do everything out of love. This will the Lord deign to show forth by the power of His Spirit, which was talking about in today's epistle, in His workman now cleansed from vice and from sin. So, again, dear brethren, let us meditate on this parable. There is a source for conversion, interior conversion, spiritual conversion. Humility pleases to God. We cannot please to God even if we are excellent. And you know better than I, our culture emphasizes on excellence, competition is the best. There is something right, but there is something wrong in it too. That things that can be dangerous. We don't consider the handicapped, the sick, those who are not useful. That's not Christian at all. We have talents, you have talents, but don't take credit for your talents. Be humble enough to give credit to God and to humble yourself. I'm not worthy to have these talents. And if I have talents, do I bear fruits? I probably don't bear enough fruits. And you will have to give an account to God for all the talents you have received, the time you have lost, the acts of charity you have missed. Everything will count. So, dear brethren, Saint Jean-Marie Vianney says in his words, he who excuses himself shall be accused. He who accuses himself shall be excused. That's a good idea, a good saying when we make a confession or when we make an examination of conscience. Don't seek excuses, but rather accuse yourself and God will excuse you. He who exalts himself shall be humbled. He that humbles himself shall be exalted. May the Blessed Virgin Mary help us to understand what true humility is, so that we may please God and reach this heavenly exaltation through climbing the ladder of humility.